Two people board the same aircraft. Same row, same seat class, same destination. One of them paid €39 for the ticket. The other paid 240. The difference is not luck. It is not timing. It is a system. And once you understand how that system works, you can be the person who pays €39. Budget airlines are not charities. They keep the base fare low by charging separately for almost everything else. Luggage fees, seat selection charges, priority boarding fees, payment surcharges, airport check-in penalties, in-flight food and drink costs, flexibility fees for changes. By the time you have finished clicking through the booking screen, a €39 ticket can easily climb to €130 or more. The airline has not lied to you. They have simply sold you a base price and left you to discover the rest. The most powerful lever you have over ticket prices is flexibility. Airline pricing is not fixed. It moves constantly, shaped by demand, route popularity, competition, seasonality, and how many days remain until departure. Flying on a Tuesday or Wednesday instead of a Friday typically costs less. Taking an early morning or late-night departure costs less. Avoiding school holiday weeks, summer peak season, and public holiday travel windows costs significantly less. Even shifting your travel dates by 1 or 2 days can cut the price in half. The traveler who can move the trip by 48 hours holds real power in the airline pricing game. When it comes to booking strategy, there is no universal magic window. The idea that booking exactly 53 days in advance guarantees the cheapest fare is a myth. What does work is comparison and patience. Use flight search tools that display a full month of prices in calendar view. Set price alerts on routes you plan to fly. Check secondary airports near your departure and arrival cities. Flying out of a smaller hub 30 minutes away can save €80 on a short-haul route. Consider combining 2 single-direction tickets from different airlines rather than buying a return on one carrier. And resist panic buying. A fare you are comfortable with at full trip cost is almost always better than a rushed decision chasing a number that might not be the cheapest when add-ons land. The hidden fee trap is where budget travel goes wrong for most people. Checked luggage on low-cost carriers typically runs €20 to €60 each way. Seat selection adds €10 to €30 per passenger per leg. Some carriers charge €50 or more if you check in at the airport desk rather than online. Payment surcharges, priority boarding packages, and change fees layer on top. The result is a ticket price that looks cheap at the start and expensive at the end. Always calculate the total door-to-door cost with bags, seat, and transfer before comparing prices across airlines. A headline fare that doubles with add-ons is not actually cheap. Packing strategy is the cleanest way to reduce budget airline costs. Most carriers include a small personal item for free, a compact backpack or underseat bag within their size limits. If you can travel with only that item, your luggage cost is $0. Know your airline's exact dimension rules and check your bag before you travel. If you need to bring more, add checked baggage during booking. It is almost always 30 to 50% cheaper than paying at the airport gate. Wear your heaviest clothing on travel day. Distribute weight carefully to avoid overweight fees. Smart packing on a short trip routinely saves €50 to €100 per person. Route strategy matters more than most travelers realize. A budget flight to a secondary airport is not the same as a cheap trip to the city. Add the ground transfer cost, sometimes €30 or more each way, and the time it takes to reach the real destination. Self-connection routes, where you book 2 separate tickets through an intermediate city, carry real risk if the first flight is delayed. If you miss the second flight on a separate ticket, The airline owes you nothing. The cheapest route on paper is sometimes the most expensive trip in practice. Flying for less does not have to mean flying comfortably less. Bring snacks where the rules allow. Carry a portable battery charger. Download your entertainment before you board. Fill an empty water bottle at the terminal. Dress in layers. Cabin temperature changes more than most people expect. Book a specific seat only when it genuinely matters. These small preparations cost almost nothing and change the experience entirely. Before you confirm any flight, run through the system. Search flexible dates. Even a 1 or 2 day shift can cut the cost. Compare nearby airports. Add the full baggage fee before comparing totals. Skip add-ons you will not actually use. Set a price alert and wait a few days if you are not in a rush. Then calculate the total door-to-door cost, including ground transfers. Only then make the final decision. Budget travel is not about getting the cheapest number on screen. It is about getting the lowest real cost for the complete journey. Budget travel is not about being cheap. It is about buying the flight you actually need, skipping the traps you do not, and saving the money for the trip itself. The system works, if you understand it.